G'day and welcome to the Heat Signature Daily Challenge for the 1st of January 2020. Happy New Year! We are out to steal 3 things while not setting off any alarms. And this I had planned to record after I got home from the Warsaw trip. But sadly, my flight got delayed by 2 hours. Which, given that the flight itself is less than 2 hours, was rather frustrating, and basically meant, well, I guess I'll just record this on my laptop in the airport. So it was not the best environment to record such things, but it was, it's okay. And we're up against glitches. We're trying to avoid getting alarm set off, so this should be fine. Just a matter of trying to work out what pathing and what items we can even get. The crash beam is real good for us. The extreme range visitor could be quite handy. And yeah, let's see how we do. Unfortunately, there's really no items on the critical path here. I could use a gun as a quiet, poor man's key cloner to get this first item. But it does take me out of my way, and means that I don't get the opportunity that this affords me, where I can just wrench in. And there we go. So we just do that. We shoot, and yeah, shoot this last fella with our silencer. Doesn't really matter what it is, and then we can, take out this lot. I wonder if it's worth, I can't remember if I went to this item up the top here or not. We do have someone in the right position to reduce time, and we kind of need to deal with them anyway, because otherwise we're going to get an alarm set off, or we need to deal with, includes in this case crashing, but it is a good opportunity to increase our reach, and frankly we don't have a lot of gear, so yeah, we go for it. And this kind of thing would be a dumb move if we didn't have that requirement. Unfortunately, a silenced concussive shotgun is about the lowest tier item that we could have gotten, because it just is not particularly compelling. One trick I could have tried to use here would have been to throw a gun, and I got stuck on a corner. That really sucks. Would have been to throw a gun to try and pull the key guard into position, but that is also reasonably high risk, but definitely something worth keeping in mind actually with glitch dashing guards is if you throw a single pistol, that's actually a pretty good way of avoiding that problem. Okay, anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit this guy, and then I have this real bright idea of using my self-charging long-range crash beam on this glitch dashing guard, because if we can dodge their bullet, then that will help reduce our time taken to get to the window. Unfortunately, get stuck on the corner again. Of course, it is a higher risk play because it also increases the chances of us dying horribly to our own hubris, but that's the kind of risk I like to take. So let's get out here and do the pickup. And on to ship number 2. Overall, I can definitely see places where I could have sped things up, or I could have thrown a weapon to try and move guards around, but I'm reasonably happy with that ship one, especially given that, I'm recording it at a cafe in an airport at 8 o'clock at night when I got not a great deal of sleep the night before, because New Year's party. It was a good party, but not conducive to getting a lot of high quality sleep. Okay, so there we go. We got not an ideal dock. We're basically just gonna charge down. I think we shoot this one and then we crash the other guard with an emergency shield. I think we want to make sure that we crash things quite aggressively, but probably use crashes to cut off guards that are currently yeah, okay, so that was yeah, currently partway through, and then we can just bish, bash, bosh. So the key thing to remember is, as long as they don't have a shotgun, you can leave them behind you, you can delay dealing with them. Unfortunately, that guard, I believe, has a shotgun. No, they don't. Anyway, whatever. So going to the right, this gives us an opportunity to loot. This gives us just a clear path with the ability to use our hammer. Unfortunately, we keep getting stuck on those corners. I'm wondering if a better frame rate would improve or make that situation worse. So here I'm like, do I crash that guy? Because if I do, it will definitely resolve the situation with the guard, right? But I'd probably rather not crash him, because I want to. It will resolve the situation where he will turn around. But on the other hand, I would rather save my crashes for other guards, and that's what I did. So there we go. Get this item. It's a key cloner. That's definitely handy. And then we can wrench and steal. And next trick is getting out. So which window do we go for? We're just trying to avoid alarms. We don't care about anything else. I think we just I think it's a matter of counting rooms. But I didn't really do that. I just went for this window, which I think is actually slightly further apart. It's 6 rooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they're both the same distance. They're both 6 rooms away. So that one's simpler because I can just go to it in my sleep, basically. Yeah. So, right. This is what I was checking. So you can, and I was able to determine from that. It turns out, based on a comment by Scion, that you can determine what kind of teleporter it is by throwing it on the ground. There is a very brief moment where the true object's color is used. So you can very briefly see, is it a swapper, is it a visitor, is it a sidewinder? And yeah, that is really good to know. That's the kind of thing where I should probably turn it into a heat signature hot tip at some point in the future. Alright, so here we go. On to the last ship. We've set a good pace. Things are going reasonably well. Time to go get that last experiment. Jammers and defenders. So it's definitely not for the faint-hearted, because so many enemies that are permanently shielded. I don't particularly like using the steel item just because it is true random, but on the other hand, there's also never been any compunction or any agreement to not use the steel item, and yeah, so that's a pretty bad dock. The main reason why I haven't used it, to be fair, is that I just don't know. Historically, I haven't known what it is, and the worst scenario is that you go to use it and it is a visitor on ship 1 or 2, because then you've just wasted 2 seconds. Like, you've effectively just had to stand still for 2 seconds, and that is the worst. So here we got these crash beams. We definitely want to use these crash beams as efficiently as we can. So we kind of have to crash a whole pod. So that's what we do. Crash both of them. Alright, so now we hopefully get something cool from this. Obviously the highest priority is the one with the gun, because the others we can actually just run from. That was me wasting a bullet though. We're gonna go up. Now what did I do there? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so here, one guard is very dangerous, the other guards are not. So now we got that. Ooh, a long-range visitor. That is useful. And you can see me working my way through this fairly soon, where I'm like, wait, what does this mean? How can I use this? Because I could potentially use that to basically skip into the final chamber and then skip out with the long range teleporter. So I just need to get to a position where I can do that. So we got that long range crash beam so we can double crash. That works out reasonably well. And as always, prioritize using the self-charging device first because it will come back, at least eventually. That guy managed to knock out his own friend, which is kind of handy. And there we go. What is the last item here? Is it something useful? Ooh, another crash beam. That is great. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can get... I mean, I definitely want to get the Predator. Unfortunately, I could get the Predator and someone else. Really, it probably wasn't that important to get that done because they weren't lined up quite well enough. But, oh well, let's see. So I could visit to there right now. That's probably, in retrospect, that probably would have been a better plan. Because I could have visited to there, I could long range visited to the actual weapon, and then I would have visited back to the teleporter room and just teleported out. Yeah, no, like, in retrospect, that was a much better plan. I should have done that. I wonder if anyone else did, because the thing is, there are many other people that did this, and there are people who go better times than me. But instead, it's like, okay, I'll use the extreme range teleporter to get to it. And let's see. So here, I'm just trying to get out as quickly as I can. And yeah. So I'm like, okay, right, I'm reasonably safe. So what I need to do is I just need to crash this, and I thought I did, but for some reason it didn't go off, and then I get shot, and then I'm like, well, I can't get out of the way, can I? Nope. If anything, I probably should have gone north, but yeah, this was just too late, and so I just lose a whole chunk of time. Yeah, so we're at 42 seconds now, and then I need to run all the way back. I mean, there are no guards in that. This marks the second day in a row where a Sentry has done me in. And this I very much blame the conditions I was recording under. I should have noticed that that didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work, mind you, but yeah. And on rewatching, like, I know that I already messed it up. So here, I'm like, do I just go north? Yeah, so here I'm just gonna, on the frame it opens, do that, go away, wait a second, there we go. Neutralized. Didn't want to open the door because I was worried the guards would see bodies and raise the alarm. I probably could have just crashed those guards, to be fair. Probably should have just done that. Okay, so now I get my revenge, I crash that, and then I run up and I can extreme range visit. But like I said, extreme range, I could have definitely done something more cleverer and faster than taking out that pod in the first place. Alright, so now we're moving up. And I was planning on visiting back to that room with the window. And then I realized, hang on a minute, I could just not do that. I could just visit out into space. Like some sort of awesome space visitor. And so I did. And then I failed at my remote ship piloting. And there we go, we bounce off. So we even have a longer than normal pickup. I'm like, well, maybe I can improve this by using the shotgun. Not overly much. And there we go. So that was the first daily of the new year. And I hope you have a good one. Although obviously you'll actually get the second daily of the new year before this one, because that was the one I actually recorded today. And then I did the commentary for all three of these. And let's see how we did overall. Right. That's been cut off in this recording. Oh well. Key thing is, I was definitely not first. I'll see you next time.